Welcome everyone. This is part 2 of my collection and finished pages. I will be showing you books from Kirby Rosanes, Melendres, and Good Wives and Warriors. All right, so let's start it off with Kirby Rosanes. And all right, so Anamorphia was my first Kirby book. And this one has a lot more like kind of fill-in shapes with your own doodles, but not all the pages are like that. All right, so sorry, I'm starting in the back because there's not a ton of pages here. All right, so I'll do this one first. This one was most likely inspired by another colorist. Really love the color palette here. I believe I used a distress ink for this big squid looking thing, and then color pencil shading. This feels like just color pencil, so I don't think I did a base of anything here, although I could have done a base with markers and then color pencil on the top. But I really love the colors of these like water swirl things here, how they're like dark and then they go to light. Yeah, really liked the colors on this one. All right, oh, and this one I did in all Crayola markers. So like the broad tip markers. And so I did like straight coloring for the birds, the toucans. And then for the back, or for the leaves and some of this effect here, I used them as like watercolors. So putting them down on a palette and then using a water brush to apply. So yeah, I remember I think that I did a video on this. Yeah, Color This With That is the title. And yeah, got a lot of positive feedback on using Crayolas. So I need to go back and use more Crayolas. All right, and then here is one that you would fill in the doodles. So like you can tell which ones are Kirby's, his signature style, and then the rest of them I filled in. And then the background is done with distress ink and some like water droplets, so you get that texture in there. I think I had learned how to do these like little rosette flowers, so you'll be seeing a lot of those in this book. All right, I didn't finish this one, but there I did an alligator. All right, let's see. Oh yes, okay, this is one of my favorite pages. So distress ink in the background and distress ink for the ram, and then color pencil shading. And then these were just done with, you know, the black fine tip pens. But yeah, I made different sections in here and then just filled them in like Zen doodling. But yeah, so you can see I really did a lot of flowers, but I think that looks so cool in here. All right, that is it for Anamorphia. All right, next book is going to be Worlds Within Worlds. And again, I'm going to start in the back, although I think I have a few more finished pages in here. All right, yes, this one I was inspired by the saturation filters like on your phone app. So like after you take a picture, you can apply different filters and adjust different things. So I liked how like when you take the saturation to one side, it makes everything like, you know, kind of grayscale, and then you go to the other side and it makes everything vibrant. So my concept was making the bird cage here and the unicorns super bright and vibrant, and then everything on the outside as it's going out will get less color saturation. So Yeah, but I like how, you know, you still get a little hint of color here along this inner edge, and then as it goes out, it is more gray. Yeah, fun page to do. I believe this is a video also on my channel. And same with this one. Now the background is done with alcohol markers. So I did sacrifice this page, which wasn't a big deal because there is that one. And yeah, I thought if I wanted to try to salvage it, I can probably paint a lot of it black since it's like a space theme in the background. But yeah, so alcohol marker in the back because I just liked the boldness of it, and you know, not having too many marker lines. Love how the lanterns turned out. I kept the leopard pretty simple. I believe there could be a base of distress ink, but I'm not sure. It doesn't look like very textured, so I'm not sure what I did, but I believe there's a video on this one too. And then the lanterns are done with color pencil. And then of course we have some white acrylic paint. All right, here is my next page. Pretty like fall themed with the apples, this kind of golden sky. This almost looks like a watercolor, so I could have done like a watercolor base. Same with like some of the leaves. You can see some of the watercolor came out here. So probably some sort of watercolor medium, and then color pencil on top. Same thing with the apples. Yeah, it's a pretty page. All right, and then this guy, the skull with the pirate ship, it's such a cool concept. I love this. But yeah, black acrylic paint, and then I did some like scribbles with a white pencil, and color pencils for like everything else. All right, same thing, although this time this was the first page that I did in the book, and I was wanting to copy this, the back cover, because I liked the concept of, you know, a black background, and then, you know, you have very intense color, and then it fades to just the line art. So I wanted to try that on here. So black acrylic background with the white acrylic paint splatters and color pencil. Okay, that's Worlds Within Worlds. All right, and then we have Color Morphia, and this is a compilation of some of Kirby's pages from other books. So don't have a lot in here. All right, there is this one. Acrylic paint for the background. This one does not cover as nicely as the black paint. You can probably see a lot of paint strokes through here, and I was kind of done with painting, so I think there's several coats. So I decided just to like splatter it with white paint for stars. I kind of wish I would have done some type of northern lights back there, but that's all right. The water itself is done with some kind of water medium. Watercolor, I'm assuming, although I was thinking I didn't have a watercolor palette at that time, but it definitely looks like a watercolor. And I'm not sure, I remember it not working, the paper not working out very good. It's almost like it just soaked it up so fast, so I wasn't able to spread it or move it around. So then I decided to just continue on with those like texture lines, so it didn't look too bad. But yeah, I think it turned out okay. So these up here, I wanted more like purples inside, and then down here below the water line is more of the teal colors. So yeah, and then just whited out all of the ice caps, all the black lines in the polar bear, just to give it that more icy feel. Okay, next page. All right, so this was a practice page for the last book I showed you, or is that Anamorphia? No, I think it's Worlds Within Worlds. So that one was a double page spread. This one was just a single one, so it was good for me to just be able to practice what I wanted to practice before I did it on video. All right, and then there is this one, and I feel like I was inspired by someone else's page for this one. I don't know if it's everything or if I took parts from other ones, but I really liked how they did the background. So this is Pan Pastel, and then I used an electric eraser to erase all these little like crack lines and the hieroglyphics over here. And then did I use any gold? Let's see. I feel like I used gold Pan Pastel, but I'm not maybe a little shimmer in that blue and gold area. I'm not sure. I don't see any sparkle stuff, and that stuff gets everywhere, so. All right, well, if I didn't, I might have to come back and do that, because that would be really pretty on here. Okay, so there's that one. And, oh, sorry, the rest of it is just color pencil. All right, that looks like it's it for Color Morphia. All right, let me get a drink real quick. All right, next is A Fragile World. And this book's special to me. My son's girlfriend, she knows I like to color, and she's really a good gift giver. Like, she's always bringing me gifts, but yeah, she was at Target, saw this book, and she came back with it, and she's like, do you have this one? And I was like, oh, actually, I don't have that one. So anyway, very thoughtful. All right, so this page I did because I was inspired by Shark Week. I think it's Discovery Channel that puts it on. Let's see, I guess it's in maybe September or no, August, maybe August, September timeframe. But yeah, so I was inspired by Shark Week, and also one of my students in my junior high classes did this picture, and she kind of messed it up at first. I think we were doing like paint sprays or splatters, and she was using red, and it ended up looking like blood, so she just kind of went with it, and it ended up being like this kind of gory looking page, but it was kind of cool too, so I was thinking of her when I did that. And yeah, so the background is done with Distress ink, and then some like paint splatters around. The sharks were done with Distress ink also, and then also some watercolor for some of the shading, color pencils for the fish. And when I did the Distress ink, I wasn't concerned about like trying to weave around all these fish. I just went on the top of them because I knew I was coming back over them with color pencil. So yeah, it wasn't a big deal. This seal is also done with Distress ink and color pencil shading. And then as you can see, the white is not so white. On camera, it's not too bad, but it's kind of a creamy color. I went over it and over it and over it with Posca pen, with gel pen, with white acrylic paint. Sometimes the backing, depending on the colors and mediums you use underneath, want to pull up through that white. So anyway, yeah, I love this page. All right, and then this one I did this year, so I wanted to try something with the Northern Lights. This one is also done with alcohol marker, so again, double page spread, so I sacrificed this page, and I'm okay with that. Yeah, so I just wanted that like darker, bolder look. without giving it any type of texture, like feeling like acrylic paint would, or yeah, or like oil pastel. And then I used acrylic paint, just kind of almost like a dry brush technique for the Northern Lights. So that gives it kind of that feathery look. And then also went over some areas that I wanted to highlight with acrylic paint pens. And I whited out this iceberg here and some of the water lines, but I kept this polar bear like under the water with the black lines. And yeah, I just wanted there to be that like sharp contrast, like nice, like the moon was hitting this, so it's nice and bright, and this is underwater, so it's a little bit darker. The water was done with, I was gonna say distress ink, but it could be chalk pastels too. Yeah, I don't remember. Yeah, and then some white acrylic paint, color pencil for shading. I believe I did a base of water-based marker for the polar bear and then went back and shaded with colored pencil. All right, here is my lemur page. I love this page. The colors are just, I think, perfect for it. It really has the contrast with the lemurs, like the tails. You have the light and darker blues. So yeah, this is like one of my top pages also. So the branches here are done with, I believe, oh darn it, I feel really bad that I can't remember some of these things, and some of these are pretty recent too. I want to say it's distress ink, or I don't think it's chalk pastel. I think it's distress ink. And then I went back over with color pencil for shading. And the background, I believe I used acrylic paint first, and I was trying to do a nice gradient with the light to dark, and because I had to weave around all the leaves, it wasn't turning out as well. So after the acrylic paint, then I went back over and did color pencil, and there I was able to weave around all those areas and get a better gradient, and it didn't take as long as if I had just started with color pencil. So, but yeah, I think the brightness of it is good. I did white out more of the lines in the tail, just to give it some better contrast. And I made the eyes a little bit more pronounced and used a white paint pen. The lemurs were done with water-soluble like gel crayons, and then with a water brush, and then shading with color pencil. All right, so that is it for Kirby Rosanes. Next is going to be Lee Melendres, and this one is called Exploratorium, a search and color mission, but it has been republished under a different name. It's Fright and Seek, and I think this is something else too. But yeah, the artist is still the same. It's just a different title. So be aware if you are trying to look for this book. I love this book. I think it's so fun. Even though sometimes I complain about having to do a bunch of little tiny details, I love the themes in this book. So yeah, all right. So the concept of it are these alien creatures that are invading our world. So yeah, each page has like its own theme, and you're supposed to search around for different things. Like on this page, it will show, you know, these little characters that you can find. I never do that. I don't color them any differently. I have noticed on some of them, they're really tricky to find because sometimes you only see maybe like, you know, half of it or something. Like I'm expecting to find the whole thing, but no, you see like an eye or something. So anyway, I just kind of ignore that. Now I saw this book on Erin K's designs. I will put the name on screen for you. And her theory or concept for coloring this book was to color all the creatures kind of one color theme. And then the rest of it can be, you know, whatever else, whatever color palette you want. But yeah, I thought that was a good idea because there's so much going on in these pictures that coloring the creatures one color keeps it more cohesive. And as I'm talking and just explain to you that I don't do anything different with those search and finds, I'm just looking at some of these I did leave blank. So those must be the search and find things, but I know I don't do that on all the pages. This was my first one, and also I believe I copied that Erin K. I think I did the same like colors that she did, because I just like to, I copy usually one, and then I'm like, okay, once I figure out like what they did, then I can move on from there and do my own stuff. So anyway, all right, so that is Alien Invasion. They've come to Earth and are scattering all over the place. This one is called Food Fight, so they've made their way into like a cafeteria. And so yeah, I wanted my aliens to be a like darker green this time. And so we have pops of oranges and yellows because of ketchups and mustards. And yeah, I wanted really kind of earthy like food colors. And then the background is pink. So most of the time I do like a water-based marker base and then color pencil on top. And then some of these bigger areas I'll do like a chalk pastel or pan pastel. All right, Candyland. This one's not as easy or not as cohesive, I guess, but I kept all the little creatures in the brown color. I wanted them to look like chocolate, but there's just so much color with all the candy. But yeah, I like these little like sour, not ropes, like taffy looking things, and the lollipops. Yeah, I think it's really pretty. So color pencil for this one. Alpine Adventure. I love the color palette of this one. I like the shading of the trees. And I think because there's a lot of white with the snow that it's easy to look at, you know, it's easy to kind of figure out what's going on. Circus. I love this one too with the flame, and then you have the glow from the flame hitting these guys over here and then around, you know, him. This one I did a little bit different with the creatures, the ones in the audience, at least most of the ones in the audience, there's a few that aren't, are pink, and then all the performers are in that teal color. Fright Night, your classic kind of Halloween colors, orange, green, and purple. So creatures are green. Oh, no, sorry. Creatures are like, I was trying to make them look more like translucent, like ghost colors. So a really pale, like green and blue colors. All right, Future City. And yeah, I like this color palette too. I was looking up Disney, like vintage posters, like ride posters, and I think this came from like Tomorrowland or something. So yeah, I figured, oh, that's like fits perfectly. But yeah, aren't the themes fun? Yeah, I just love this book. All right, here is Science Lab. Again, because there's more white space, it's easier to kind of figure out what's going on. Green aliens, again, just slightly different. These have a little bit more like teal in them. All right, Graveyard, and I think I was inspired by another artist on this one also. So trying to get my ghost, not necessarily translucent looking, but more, you know, lighter greenish teal colors, I guess. I whited out all the black lines with acrylic paint, and then, yeah, then just shaded with color pencil. And then for these like misty areas, I took a baby wipe and acrylic paint, and you kind of just swoosh it on there. Learned that from Dee Dee Willingham. And then this is like acrylic paint pens that you add a line and then kind of smush it with your finger. All right, Haunted House. This is my only page that, I wouldn't say I hate it, but I just don't like it. Like compared to all my other pages that I really like, yeah, I think it's just so much red. And again, I was looking at like vintage Disney posters, and I don't know if they had like a haunted house one that was all in red, or if it was just another imagery that I saw that had like a red haunted house, but I think the red and the green just aren't working. I mean, the contrast is good because you can make out all the green characters pretty easy, but yeah, I don't know what it is. It's not my favorite, so, all right. All right, pool party. So I was playing with the concept of warm and cool colors. I knew I would have not a lot of blue, but a lot of water. So here's my cool, added a little bit more purple in the slide. And then I knew another dominant color would be whatever the creatures are. So I picked a hot pink, or kind of like a magenta for them. And then the walls and this structure are the orange and yellows. So yeah, I like this is the smoke, and then from the grill, I like how I did like the heat coming from there. All right, that might be it. Yep, that is it for that one. So yeah, fun book. All right, the next or last three books are going to be from Good Wives and Warriors. I haven't colored in this one too much. I was so excited to get this one, and then I don't know why. Yeah, I feel like storybooks, I need to go from beginning to end, and there might be pages that I really want to do, but because I'm going beginning to end, I tend to like stop after a while. So anyway, a lot of these, let's see, I got this in 2019, so a lot of these are probably ones that I saw from other colorists. These are probably gonna all be color pencil. Yeah. This one, I think I did a cloud stencil. Again, probably not my own idea. I probably saw that. This, I think, might be Inktense. And it may have been like one of my, no, it wasn't my first one, but I didn't realize I can go back on top of it and do multiple layers. So I was never happy with all this like texture lines you see. I could go over it with color pencil too, but I haven't. I just left it. All right, this was done with water brush markers. Color pencil. This looks like either distress ink or like chalk pastel. And that's it. All right, and then this one is Myth World, Fantastical Beasts to Color and Explore. So Good Wives and Warriors, I love their artwork. They have just such colorful artwork. And they also do like children's books and like advertisements, and they do a lot of stuff. So this coloring book is based off of several other books. Myth Match, which is a children's book, and Mythopedia, which I'm not sure if it's a children's book, but I mean, I'm sure it could be. So this one, there's all these creatures, and the pages are kind of like split in half, and you can flip the pages and kind of create your own magical creature, I guess. But it does have some of the same descriptions as this book. So a lot of times for reference, when I want to look at what they've done, I'll look at those books and see what the artists have done. So, all right, so we'll start you off with Phoenix, This is the one I did most recently. And I used a lot of different things on these. Color pencils, there's probably Inktense, or like I think I used Neocolor 2s on this. White acrylic paint, gold watercolor, like metallic watercolor. And then, I don't know if I can pick it up, let's see. I also used another metallic watercolor for the background here. Just trying to give it to make it look kind of smoky. It started out as an accident and then I ended up liking the effect. So yeah, I'm just not sure I love all the colors in the Phoenix. I knew I wanted them like reds and yellows, but yeah, I think I did too many colors. But I like the contrast of like the blues down here too, and his like blue beak. All right, and let's see. All right, I'll show you this one, but I know I have one more in here. All right, Fenrir, I think is how you pronounce it. It is a like wolf, and looks like he's in an ice cave, yeah. So yeah, I did watercolors. May have done, I don't know if it's watercolor pencils or just straight watercolor. Or I could have used like water brush markers and applied it like a watercolor. Same thing with the sky. I used that metallic watercolor. And then just shading with color pencil. I may have done a video on this one too, so. All right, so I'm looking for, there it is, there's my unicorn. All right, I love this one. This is another one of like my top pages. And my tab keeps falling off here. Okay, so I would never have thought about coloring a unicorn green before, but this one in the description, it says covered in shaggy green fur. So I was like, well, all right, I guess he's green. But yeah, I love the colors. I played around with this. Like I usually print off a page and then practice it multiple times, especially if I'm going to be doing a video. So yeah, there is a video on this one too, but yeah, I must have redone this multiple times and I finally gave up and I was like, well, whatever I do next, that's what it's going to be. And yeah, I think it turned out really good. So it kind of goes to dark to light. And then I love these like blue flowers with the white dots, the sun rays. Yeah, just really make him stand out. So yeah, really happy with this page. All right, so that is Myth World. And then my first Good Wives and Warriors book is this one. And this is considered the longest coloring book in the world at 17 feet. It is To the Ends of the Earth and Back Again. And you have to open it like this. So this cover folds this way. And then you pull from here and it extends out. So all the pages are connected. That's what makes it like the longest coloring book in the world. But I'll just flip through it like this to show you. All right, so here's the first page, and it kind of goes through almost like their other books with the mythology creatures. Like each land or continent has its own myth creatures and landmarks and stuff. So here's kind of where the story begins. Let the adventure begin. And yeah, cute little cottage. You see a dragon. This kind of looked like a Celtic knot to me. And for this book, I've been using this one brand of pencils. They're the Marco Raffine pencils, like on Amazon. Like super budget friendly, but I think like the color payoff is really good. So all right, here's my next page. This is probably one of my favorite pages I've done in this book so far. I love the colors of the wolf and the trees, even this like elk with the branches. I think that's really cool. The water turned out really pretty. All right, and then we come over to this page and we get some Egyptian pyramids here with kind of this pharaoh or sphinx cat. All right, and then this one. I don't know what those are. They kind of look like totem poles. Yeah, I don't know what continent we're at here. Could be, I don't know if that's Australia or if we're still Africa. All right, and then this one has this unique kind of bird creature. And some tigers, peacock. And what's nice about this book also, the pages, the background is already colored. So it starts out really light, like it's white. And as each page goes on, it gets just a little bit darker each time, as you can see. So that's kind of nice. You don't have to worry about the background. All right, that is it for that one. And that is it for this part. So next part I'm doing Rita Berman. So keep an eye out for that one. All right, thank you everyone, and I'll see you soon.